What's up, YouTube? So, it's another video. I'm gonna talk about dealing with isolation or dealing with loneliness, dealing with like just feeling like no one understands you, or like if you're around people, you just still feel alone, or like no matter what, you're just alone. Like you can't seem to like manifest or attract a lot of people that vibe with you into your life, or like you're just struggling to attract like-minded people, people that you actually that are cool with, or like it just seems like no matter what, you're always isolated. It could be in any situation, like if you're trying to become great, if you're trying to become successful, and like no matter what, like you just feel alone, you just feel like isolated, so yeah, so let's get started. So honestly, like I know what you're feeling. Like it sucks. It's not a pleasant feeling. So like my best bet is to like no matter what, like, well, first off, being if you're constantly alone, or if you're constantly isolated, that's a great opportunity, to be honest, to like for you to become very like successful, to be honest, because like when you're alone, you're gonna have a lot of creative ideas. You're gonna become more like self-aware of yourself. You're gonna become more knowledgeable about yourself. So like I feel like you're gonna become more wiser, and I feel like you're gonna become more mature in a way too. Cause like when you're alone, like you're forced to like reflect. You're forced to like learn more about yourself. You're forced to like figure out your interests. What you like, what you don't like, what you value, what you don't value, and like you're gonna become more mentally strong, because when you're constantly isolated, when you're constantly alone, that's very painful, and it could do so much to the body, to the human mind, to the human brain. I think I've heard somewhere down the line that like I feel like it's been scientifically proven that like you could even feel physical pain when you're even alone, when you're even isolated, and like how much that sucks, and like it's just awful, what I'm saying? So like, and now imagine you're so used to being alone, you're so used to being isolated, you know. I feel like that could separate you from the average person, Never underestimate people, of course. You just don't do that. But what I'm saying is that like I feel like it is possible for you to become mentally more mature and mentally stronger, because if you can handle being alone for a long time throughout your life, it could be through anything, man. It could be like if you're alone in your house all day, if you're trying to become like a better athlete, and like you're just always alone working out, like there's no one with you to work out, you have no personal trainers to work out with you, if or it could be anything, man, if you don't have that support system, and you're just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna work hard for myself, then honestly you're the only person you can rely to. And like if you're consistent, if you're completing your goals, if you're working hard, then that's all you need is you, pretty much, because you're gonna become your biggest fan. Yeah, you're gonna become your biggest fan. You're gonna be your own best friend, and like nothing could take that from you. And I noticed too, like whenever I'm isolated, whenever I'm alone, I tend to get more creative ideas. Like honestly, I wouldn't even be making YouTube videos if I was never isolated or alone. And I get more creative ideas. And like I feel like you should always use your pain as what's what was I about to say? Use your pain, use your suffering to your advantage, and use that wisdom to help others as well. If you can use your pain and wisdom to not only help yourself, but to help other people, you could help, man. First off, you're gonna do a lot of great things in this world if you're able to share your wisdom towards other people. You can help a lot of people, and it's gonna benefit you in the long run. Because I feel like you're gonna create a lot of good karma for helping people, and it's just gonna look good. It's gonna look very good, and like, um, yeah, if you're able to do that, then no one could take that from you. You're mentally stronger, you're more creative, and you could take on anything. Now, imagine once you do reach that success, right? Or if you're on the verge to that type of success. Now, imagine if you have people around you. Now, after you went through that, imagine you have the right girlfriend, boyfriend, the right relationship. Imagine you have the right friends, the right family members, even. Bro, you'd be unstoppable because now you got that support, and it's gonna help boost you even more, in my opinion. And it depends on your. I guess it depends on your personality. I don't know too much about it. Like, let's say, for example, if you're like an introvert, right? Or then obviously you're gonna be more comfortable being alone. Which makes sense, I guess. But if you're like an extrovert and like out of nowhere you're constantly isolated, you're just so confused. And like once you finally get used to it, then bam, I feel like your success and your work ethic's gonna skyrocket because you're so used to working alone, and it's gonna help you a lot. So I think that's one of the good things. That obviously, if you have an option to be around people, if you have people that you get along with, it could be friends, family members, it could be your partner, and by all means, hang out with them. I'm not telling you to distance yourself. Like, I'm not telling you to distance yourself. Don't do that. Don't isolate yourself. That's bad. It's gonna lead to depression. It's gonna lead to sadness. Just don't do that. But what I'm talking about is like if like out of nowhere for some reason you're just always alone, or like no one's with you when you're working out, or no one's with you when you're trying to reach success, or when no one's with you if you're trying to have fun in general. Maybe people are busy. Maybe you just don't vibe with the right people. You just don't feel connected, and you just rather distance yourself from them. Like, this seems like you're always alone. No one actually understands you or gets you. That's the video I'm talking about. But if you are experiencing this, just remain strong. Obviously, if it's too much, try to seek help. Try to seek like therapy help or like mental health services. Do what you got to do. But or trying to reach out to your friends if you can. Reach out to people you feel the most connected to. Do that. Pray to God. A lot of prayer definitely works. But yeah, but all I'm saying is that like if you are alone, like I'm telling you, like you're gonna become more creative. You're gonna have a lot more creative ideas. You're gonna become more mentally stronger. Definitely, it's gonna become a stronger person. It's gonna suck. It's gonna be painful. You're gonna have a lot of sleep. You're gonna have sleepless nights. You're gonna be confused. A lot of crying. A lot of grieving. A lot of confusion. And don't ever question your self-worth. If you're alone, it's not because you're not good enough, or like your self-worth is not up to par. It's not up there. It is. Don't ever think that. At times, maybe you maybe when you're, it could happen when you're reaching to the top, or you're about to reach to the top. It could happen at any time. It could happen when your work ethic is too great, or you're becoming great as a person. Then like either God is gonna just separate you for whatever reason to make you stronger, or to make you be closer to God or the universe or whatever you believe in. It's bound to happen, like, but it's not in vain. Like, when you're alone or isolated out of nowhere for a long time, it's nothing personal. It's not because of you. It's not because of your self-worth. It's the opposite. It's quite the opposite. Like, yeah, it's the opposite. Like you could um God gives, because think about it. Why all of a sudden, like, you're trying to reach to the top, or out of nowhere you become isolated, right? You just feel lonely. It's for a good reason. It's for a really good reason, and it's not personal. So don't take it personal at all. It's an opportunity for you to get closer to God or the universe, or whoever you believe in. It's an opportunity for you to dive deep within yourself, and you're going to become more self-aware as a person too. Because like when you're constantly alone, again, you're going to self-reflect a lot. You're going to think a lot. You're gonna figure out ways how to become more successful. You're gonna question the world a lot. You're gonna question God a lot. You're gonna question people a lot. You're gonna question a lot of things, man. And this is why it's gonna expand your mind. And then once your mind becomes very like expanding, you're gonna have more creative ideas and creative. You're gonna have more of a creative mind, and I feel like that's gonna help you reach a lot more success. You could be in anything, You could be wisdom. You could be on your craft, on what you're working on. It could be anything too, And not only that, but like when you're constantly alone, and isolated, like I said, you're gonna be less distracted, most likely, from a lot of low vibrational shit, like less bullshit, less troubles. You won't be in trouble as much. there's not gonna you're gonna have less risks of, again, getting in trouble. It could be with the law, with other people. You're gonna be more relaxed. You're gonna be more cool, calm, collected. And I feel like you're gonna be more self-driven and self-focused when you're constantly alone and isolated. So you always gotta think of the positive sides and the good sides of every situation. Never let any situation bring you down. Yes, it is okay to like grieve. It is okay to feel the pain. It is okay to feel angry, because I'm telling you, I know how it feels. It really sucks when, like, no matter what, you're always alone, or like when you're around people, you just don't resonate with these types of people. So trust me, I totally understand what you're going through. It's not cool at all. It's not right. So you just got to keep your head up. It is okay to feel all of your emotions, because me, I'm still dealing with it to a certain extent. But like, even though it was painful, it was bullshit, I was so angry, and I feel like I didn't deserve to be constantly isolated or alone, or like be around people I don't feel connected with. I will question God a lot. I'll be so angry and pissed off at God. Like, I'll just question life. I'm like, yo, why am I always isolated? I have a lot to offer. I like, I'm very social. I have a lot of hobbies. I feel like I have a lot to offer to the world. Why am I always alone? So, and what I've realized, well, at least what I believe in, is that, like, it's not because God is trying to punish you or anything, even though I feel like it is bullshit. Like, even though God puts you through a lot of bullshit situations and a lot of just annoying situations, at the end of the day, I do feel like it's helped to better you, because if you're in any, like, fucked up situation, it's going to better you regardless. If you come out of it, you become a lot stronger. You're gonna become a lot more wise. It's just bound to happen. So don't get discouraged. Keep putting your head down. Keep working hard. Keep grinding. Try to get closer to God. Feel all your emotions. Don't numb your emotions. Like, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling confused, if you're feeling angry, make sure you purge all that shit out. Because even like all the greats, if you study the greats, you'll notice a pattern where, like, they all dealt with like some type of like isolation, or like they tend to be alone, or either that, or people tend to not understand them as much, or like they tend to be like the outcast or the oddball, or like the black sheep, of a friend group, or just a group in general. They tend to be that. So when you're constantly isolated, then most likely you have a higher calling. Most likely you're going on a different, more unique path, which is a good thing. And that means you're destined for great things and bigger things. So it's important to keep focused, to keep grinding, to keep doing what you got to do. It's not easy at all. I'm not saying it's easy. I know it sucks. It sucks constantly being alone. It sucks constantly being isolated. You know what I'm saying? But again, you just got to keep grinding, and you just got to keep fighting. So like, comment, subscribe, and comment on your life experiences, on your isolation, and how it makes you feel. And don't forget, if you're currently feeling it now, try to seek help if it gets too much. Try to reach out a friend or a family member. Try to reach out to me if you want. If you're feeling alone or isolated, you're not alone, because like, I've experienced this too. I'm still kind of experiencing this to a certain extent. A lot of people are experiencing this as well. You could look up YouTube videos on people who feel the same way. You could reach out to anyone. So you're never alone. Even though you are alone, you're technically never alone. You have people around you. You have help around you. You just gotta put yourself out there. You just gotta scroll through your phone. There's always that one family member that's always there for you. There's always that one friend that's always there for you. It could be even a stranger. You just gotta open up. Also, what was I about to say? Yeah, you always have that. Oh yeah, and you can always seek professional help too. You can always contact, if it gets too serious. You always got therapy. You always got like all these emergencies that are here for you. So don't hesitate to ask for help. Um, don't ever isolate yourself, because you just don't want to do that. There's even therapy work where, like, you could do therapy on the phone if you don't even feel comfortable going to therapy in person. Like, there are programs where, like, you could talk to your therapist on the phone, one-on-one. If that makes you feel comfortable, you could do that. I mean, I done it. So like, you could do that too if you feel comfortable, you know, and that helps a lot, you know. So again, don't feel discouraged. Most likely, if you are dealing with isolation, it's because you're meant for bigger, better, and greater things. And like, it's not because you have low self worth. It's not that at all. It's because God wants to put you at a different path because God sees something in you. You know, God sees a lot of strength. God sees a lot of greatness in you. So that's why God wants to kind of isolate you in a way. So like you could learn more about yourself. You could learn your strengths, your weaknesses, your how to bounce back from situations to give you a lot more wisdom. You know, and that can help you a lot. So that's another way to look at it. You know. So you just got to keep doing what you got to doing, and don't give up, man. You got this, all right? I believe in you. I do, you know? Because whenever I deal with isolation, it sucked. It was bullshit. I was really confused, but I can't deny the fact that I became more mature. I became more wise. I became stronger. I became mentally stronger, you know? Like, I feel like no, I'm to the point where like I kind of enjoy being alone now. Not not to the extreme. I don't mean it like that where I'm constantly isolated from people. I don't mean it like that, but like I'm to the point where like I'm less controlling. That's what I mean to say. Like I'm less controlling. Like if I'm alone, all right, cool. That means I have more time to myself, and that's another thing too. Like if you're alone, you have a lot more time to yourself. So like you have a lot more time to work out. You have a lot more time to like to study on your school. If you're going to school, you have more time to study. You have more time to work on your business. You have more time to work out. You have more time to take care of your body. You have more time to work on your social skills. You have more time to like read books, to explore YouTube videos, learning about new things, learning a new hobby. Again, overall, just learning a lot of new things, you know, and that's gonna help you a lot, you know. So that's another thing to look at, you know, and you can even be closer to God, you know, if you're religious, if you're into spirituality or whatever you believe in, it will give you the opportunity to be closer to that, you know. So that there's so many good things about being alone, and like I feel like when you're even alone or isolated, I feel like intuitively, like deep down, I feel like you know the reason why. Like deep down, you know, like it's not a coincidence. Clearly, there's something bigger that's happening in your life that's being orchestrated by like a higher power that wants you to experience great things. That's why you're constantly isolated because you need time to better yourself. You need time to reflect. And again, it's gonna make you a lot stronger person. I'm not saying it's easy. I know. I understand it because I understand it's very confusing. It really catches you off guard, you know, because you're like, what the fuck? Why am I always alone? You know, why am I always isolated? You know, so that's another way to look at it. You know, so again, just keep your head up, and again, it could be a beautiful thing too, because like when you're isolated, you got nowhere to go but up, right? You're already rock bottom when you're alone, and I don't mean rock bottom in a bad way. I mean in a good way, where like, okay, you're alone, so now what? Now you have no choice but to love yourself even harder. You have no choice but to become more stronger mentally. You have no choice but to become more wise. Just to become stronger in general. You have no choice but like to better your skills, to better your craft in general, you know? So that's another way to look at it. You have no choice but to become great. You have nowhere to go but up, and you're constantly isolated, you know? So that's a good thing. So try to look at it as more of a blessing, you know? And I feel like you'll be good. So like, comment, subscribe. I'm out. Peace.